Great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld Today. I'm B. Ron, taking over from March in the host chair this morning, and joining me is my guy Siege. The OG crew is back at it once again to start the week off right. What a way to start things off, Siege. Good to have you here with me this morning.
What a beautiful Monday. Don't you just love Mondays? Garfield said it best. Well, I think he hates Mondays, but he said it best.
Garfield hates Mondays, and you know who else might be hating Mondays? The Los Angeles Lakers, because they are down 3-1 in their series against Minnesota Timberwolves in the playoffs. And boy, this last game in particular, Siege, did not really go too well for the Lakers, especially in the second half. And it was a strange decision from JJ Redick to keep the same guys on the court for most of Game 4 last night.
The
But
entire second half.
yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. But takeaways first from you. What you got for me? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, first takeaway is that I think everyone noticed. I mean, that's insane. That's a Tom Thibodeau move right there. To have your starting guys kind of run the entire second half. I mean, it's to me it shows what I think a lot of people have been concerned about the Lakers since that trade, and really even since before the trade was the depth on this team. Um, there's not a lot of depth. You're kind of relying on the fact that you have LeBron James and Luka Doncic, and um, it's just it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You got an older LeBron playing 46 minutes, playing the entire second half. I know he's Superman; he can do it all, but it's just never going to be a winning recipe to play only five guys the entire second half of an SWBA playoff game. It's just not a good plan. And I think the second issue, my second takeaway, is that despite having LeBron and Luca, and maybe it's because of the where they had all game, but Anthony Edwards looked like the best player on the floor last night. Um, and so if you're the Lakers and you're lacking in that depth, but you've got LeBron and Luca, but you don't have the best player on the floor in a game, it's not a good recipe. Add that to the fact that they don't have someone, they don't have like a perimeter defender ace. They don't have a guy they can stick on Anthony Edwards even for, a 5 minute stretch that might slow him down. I don't think they have that guy on their roster. Dorian Finney-Smith is a great defender, but he's a bigger forward, not necessarily a perimeter locksmith. He's a good perimeter defender, but he's not that guy. Um, they've got Jared Vanderbilt, who's a great defender, played 7 minutes. They don't have an Anthony Edwards stopper, and they frankly, whether he's better than them or not in general, they didn't have the best player on the floor last night. LeBron or Luka was not the best player on the floor. It was Anthony Edwards. All of those things together is not going to be a winning recipe for this Lakers team. And I'm not sure I see a world where they even come back and get us to a game seven.
Yeah, and it's wild too because it's not like it ended up being a blowout of a game or anything. It only ended up being decided by 3 points. So to say all of this and only lose by three is wild. But I think you're right though. One of my biggest takeaways is that the fact that Luca and LeBron aren't enough. Uh, here's something else for you too that I don't think it'll be a hot take to say. It might be, but uh, I don't even think a younger LeBron would be enough with Luca. If LeBron was in his prime with Luca, even then I don't think it would be enough because again, you need those pieces around those guys. We saw what happened with LeBron early in his career when he was Cleveland the first time. He couldn't do it by himself. Uh, Now he has another star player, but he's older now, and that makes a difference. But I don't think that even with him being a younger LeBron, that would be enough. No, we're not. But hypotheticals aren't what we're here to talk about this morning.
I
But
mean, it would be super interesting to see them drop a prime LeBron on this team. I certainly think it would be a little different. Especially like you said, the only lost by three, but they certainly in that case would have the best player on the floor, and at least prime LeBron would give them and Anthony Edwards stopper to some degree. But yeah, I mean, we could talk hypotheticals all day. What if Michael Jordan came out of retirement and was playing for the Lakers?
Yeah.
It's so but yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. It wasn't. I know they only lost by 3, but it wasn't a good look for the Los Angeles Lakers at all.
Yeah, and the other thing for me before we move on is that Lakers looked tired towards the end of the game.
Yeah,
But again, that had to do with the fact that Redick decided, hey, starters are playing. You're playing the entire second half, which, like you said, is a wild decision to do in a playoff game. But I think that shows one of two things. Like you said, either a lack of depth, lack of trust in that depth, uh, and or just the fact that you don't you you knew that you had to work with the guys you had because those were the best guys on the floor, and that's
that's
not
it.
good.
Yeah, that's it. The depth is a little scary, and it's you look at it as a situation where even in a world where LeBron pulls his super. Also, I'll just toss this out there. Really weird to me. Maybe I'm tripping about this, but really weird to me to see a game where Luca played 46 minutes and only had 1 rebound and 2 assists. That's odd to me. That's very odd. I know that's kind of extracurricular, but to me that's not a good sign. I don't know why, but it doesn't look right to me.
Well,
It doesn't look
Luca
right.
has a reputation.
Well, I just it's again though. You look at these things, and let's say even if LeBron goes LeBron playoff mode and Luca does his thing, and somehow they pull out a win in this series, what we saw last night is not a good. It is not a good sign looking ahead to if they were able to make it past this series of them being able to go anywhere past this. It's just not. It's just not. And so there's some off season work to do for this team.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of work to be done, SimWorld U regular season's winding down. The final week of it starts today, and there's a lot of things on the table as we look ahead towards the week that's coming up. Conversation should be coming up after this one as well. But I wanted to first, before we get there, talking about those games. There's a lot of non-conference championship teams who could be dangerous. Uh, who do you, and the I think one of the hard things about this topic is that right now a lot of those are up in the air as far as who makes those conference games. There's still a few that are up in the air we decided, but we'll ask it anyway. Siege, who is the most dangerous non-conference title game team in your opinion?
Well, I'll just go off of what the standings say at the exact moment. I know things can change a little bit.
Yeah.
But to me, when you're looking at most dangerous non-conference teams, you're really looking at two conferences. You're looking at the ACC and you're looking at the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I mean, realistically, if I had to tell you who I think the most dangerous is, there's this. I don't know who the number one is of the most dangerous non-conference championship team, but you're looking at a team like Louisville, who it's looking like they might be just behind Duke for that number 2 spot in the ACC, but they're a top 10 team in the country. And they might not be in their conference championship game. But really, I'll say this right now, based on play in the most recent weeks and recency bias, I almost want to give the nod to one of my least favorite groups of people, the Auburn Tigers. The Auburn Tigers have looked really, really scary recently. They're on a 6 game win streak. They've moved their way into the top 25. Barkley James has shown that he can look like the best player on the floor on any given night. That win they had against Alabama in Tuscaloosa was just what a show. So this Auburn team makes their way up there. I'm gonna give you a few of them, but Auburn, Arkansas. Again, you look at the list of maybe the 2, 3 first teams that didn't make the conference championship in both of those conferences. You're gonna find a lot of danger. But I say that, but Auburn and Arkansas are also not out of the running for the conference championship either. They're all tied at 9-4 with Kentucky. So you look at today, Kentucky has to go to Florida, play them. Auburn plays Arkansas. The winner of that game, if Florida takes out Kentucky, tonight, and Florida does have the home court advantage, you're looking at Auburn or Arkansas being in that SEC championship game against Alabama. But as it stands right now, I say all that to say Louisville is probably the most dangerous non-conference championship team. If they don't make it, Louisville's probably the most dangerous. I think they've been a little overlooked all season, in my opinion.
Okay, Louisville as a pick. I it's tough. It's really tough to pick this one, Steve, because you're absolutely right. I was thinking the same thing you were in terms of where those teams are coming from. It's either the ACC or the SEC. It has to be. Nobody else, as far as non-conference title teams, really impress me all that much. The only other one for me would be Colorado, and
Okay.
that's because of what Brian Vaughn's been doing all season, putting up multiple games with double doubles, and he's a machine when it comes to that. But I'm not sure about the talent around him and his brother either. So that's the only thing for me that's concerning for them for Colorado. So yes, it has to come from the ACC or the SEC. And to me, I'm gonna say it's Auburn right now for the reasons you
Yeah.
mentioned. Barkley James playing lights out right now, showing that he can be one of the top players in the nation as we continue to go on into his college career. And their roster around him is just very, very good in general. Too, you look at guys like Honcho Hardwick the third. And I think the strange thing to me a little bit, maybe too, is that a lot of the guys who we're talking about on Auburn are, you know, underclassmen.
Yeah.
This is a very young Tigers team. They actually don't have uh, any juniors or seniors on this team, so they'll all be returning next season. Again, provided none of them decide to leave early, none of the sophomores decide to declare after the season. But this is a young team, and we always say, yeah, young teams are great, but they're not going to make the runs because of lack of experience, blah blah. Uh, I think this team is different. I don't think they're gonna make the quad, no. But I do think they have a chance to make that Super 16. At the very least, on the high end, they'll make that. Or yeah, on their floor is the Super 16 for me in terms of where they go in hoops area. So yeah, again, Barkley James, Hunter Hardwick the third. Looking at other guys here too, like Patches, obviously as well. The freshmen in particular, really strange to say that they're going to be the ones that are going to help the team make the biggest difference come hoops area. But yeah, for me, it's Auburn.
Yeah, I'm honestly with you. I can't see another team that looks more dangerous based on recent play. But all that being said, Auburn could find themselves in the SEC championship game pending the outcome of tonight's games.
Right,
I
exactly.
that would be. I mean, look, despite having seen them beat them twice already, it would be pretty electrifying for the fans of the Iron Bowl of hoops to see Auburn, Alabama get a third matchup in the SEC title game. So I'm not rooting for that necessarily, but it would be exciting to see if Auburn can take down Arkansas on the road and Florida can fend off Kentucky. We'll see though. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Because look, like you said, Kentucky plays Florida tonight at 7. I'll be on the call for that one along with Marsh, and then Auburn plays Arkansas at 8:30 tonight. That one is going to be on local broadcast. You're not getting that one on the broadcast schedules tonight. Instead, you're going to get Michigan and Michigan State. That's
Oh,
all.
curse you with SimWorld TV. Curse you.
Yeah. Well, look. One more thing. We got to talk some football because the SWFL draft went on over the last couple of days, and one of the biggest stories of that was the fall of Shador Sanders. I have some thoughts that I will not say on the show because they're rooted in other things. But the fall of Shador Sanders, talking about him possibly being a day one, first round, top tier pick, ended up falling all the way down to the 5th round. It's a day 3 pick, and ended up being taken by the Browns. So like, Uh, thoughts on this siege?
I'm, I mean, first of all, the Browns quarterback room is one of the most chaotic things I've ever seen right now.
Mm-hmm.
But let me just touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
You're looking at Deshaun Watson. You're looking at Kenny Pickett. You're looking at Dylan Gabriel. You're looking at Shador Sanders. It's I don't know what's going on in Cleveland. To be
And Joe
honest,
Flacco,
I don't. And Joe, dude, yeah, and the legend Joe
a
Flacco. Let's
legend.
not forget Joe
Yeah.
Flacco, who, to be honest, will probably be the guy that ends up starting most of the year. Um,
Yeah.
but you're looking at a crazy quarterback room there in Cleveland. I don't know why they took two quarterbacks. I assumed that Cleveland was going to be in the tank for Arch Manning next year, to be honest, and probably still will be.
Yeah.
Um, look, I figured we were going to have to touch on this Shador thing. It's a touchy topic, I think, because as you mentioned, there's some things rude and some other things. I have to be real with what I kind of think happened here. I think we're forgetting that maybe NFL or maybe SWFL GMs just like didn't think this kid was that good. And you,
Mm-hmm.
you go look, I know he was really accurate, but you look at a team that was 9-4 in Colorado, and I'm not saying Shador is not good. He's a fine quarterback. He's a fine quarterback. But then you look at all kind of the baggage that comes with it, and I know that that's even a touchy topic to call it baggage, right? To say that it's baggage that he's got, he's only ever played for his dad. I think that's something that's getting overlooked a lot by fans is that he's only ever played for his dad. If I'm an SWFL GM and a coach, that does it maybe not concern me, but it's something to know. The only coach he's played for at a high level is his father. And you look at the family and where it's been. And again, I'm a big fan of the Sanders family. I even think Shiloh's going to be great. I think that was a great pickup for the Buccaneers, and it's a family with great football pedigree. But if you are an SWFL locker room and you're talking about bringing in a guy who has been the front of the show, even in college when the team wasn't that good, and you're talking about a lot of media attention coming your way, and you're talking about a quarterback that let's be real, B-Ron, if he's not in the starter conversation, you're probably gonna have issues, right? If you take him with a high pick and you decide not to start him, it's gonna be a big story. Whether I'm not saying Shador makes a big deal out of it. I think Shador's a lot more mature than people are giving him credit for. I think people are painting him as this like diva, whatever. I don't think that about Shador. I think Shador is a great young man. I think he is a great football player. But I do think there's a lot more things that had to be taken into account by SWFL execs than people are realizing. And maybe he just wasn't that transcendent to make those things go away. I know the thought that there's this big conspiracy to kind of put down Shador and like the family by the SWFL. I'm just not sure that I see that as what's going on. But it's certainly something to. It's just a weird one because I didn't see him falling that far. I was not going to be surprised to see him fall out of the first round, but to see him fall as far as he did and kind of just get picked with a whatever pick by a team who's got a quarterback room that looks like that, I don't know, man. It's a really weird kind of happening.
Yeah. For all that, the Jaguars could have taken him again and paired him up with Tyler Hunter for all that, you know?
Yep, yep,
Uh, like that
yep.
would have been fun to see, but it didn't. That's not what we got. We got him going to the Browns, crowded QB room. Uh, look, we've yapped long enough today. I think we'll end it there. Thank you all for tuning in this morning and listening. We appreciate you. As always, you know the usual drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notify bell as well to know when all of our shows, games, streams, all that good stuff go live to you all. There's big games tonight on SimWorld TV. Tune in. This game starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, so be there for that. They're sure to be good. SEC play, Big Ten play. SimWorld U regular season winding down this week. Conversation will start starting next week. Big week, man. Get excited. Get excited. Anyway, we're out of here. Have a good day. Remember, SimWorld's the only place where you can see the game, be the game, and we'll see you tomorrow.